based solution to a long-term objective. And it'll help a little, but very little, in the budgetary problem because of the way the ARRA money has been applied in the budget.
Jim, can you go back for just 1 second on
Yeah.
the voting in the House? It seems like there's been a dearth of votes, dearth of people absent or not vote. 80 votes on the gun bill yesterday, or 85 maybe. That's sworn in a problem with people voting 45 machines. What, are you going to start enforcing the House rule of people who have machines, have to vote, at the desk, have to vote? Because people are sitting there and just not voting.
It's coming at you.
People are sitting at the
And
machines
not-
and not voting?
And not voting at all.
On certain bills that are controversial.
They're just sitting there with their.
But we don't have a rule and that requires someone to vote. Now, I mean,
There's no House rule that says if you're at your desk, you have to vote.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Some people may not vote because they're in conflict or something. I don't know. I hadn't seen that. Where I thought you were going initially was we had 85 members in the House at any given time on floor and on votes and lockouts and so forth. And that to me has seemed to be a little low compared to historical numbers. But I think there are some reasons for that. Excuse me, nothing, no standard reason. I think there have been members who have missed a couple of days here and there for health reasons. We've had a couple of members who have had to deal with the oil spill, both in their districts, or even in their businesses, and have had to take a couple of days absence for that. And it's not the same days or the same people. It's been kind of all over the place. So,
But if you go back and look at the number of those who are absent and not voting, it's way higher than it normally is, like 15, 20, 22 people not voting. And someone sitting right there in a corporeal body and not doing anything. So that's probably.
Ed, all I can do is tell you need to ask them. You were sitting there and you didn't vote. Why didn't you vote? I can't put an answer to an individual.
But there's no House rule that requires them to vote.
No, I'm pretty sure there's not.
We need to wrap it up. The speaker has more information.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of emails that have come in. I'm sure you guys have probably gotten the same thing. It goes back to having everything on track for the way you have it scheduled out. But a lot of people, when we report on certain bills being voted on in the committee and everything, people are asking us, why are they focusing on these things and not focusing on the budget? But it's not a lack of focus on the budget, correct? It's just part of the way you guys have it scheduled?
No, not at all. I mean, we've been working every day on the budget. I mean, both in the appropriations committees, the staff has been gathering information that has been asked for from the members. I know, you know, the House of Representatives is not one-dimensional. We're doing a lot of things on a lot of different fronts and a lot of different occasions. You all may not see it, but I can assure you there has been a lot of work put into getting the budget situation straight, both in committee and dealing with the staff and looking at amendments and doing research in particular areas that will all come to fruition over the course of the next couple of weeks. This has been a very difficult budget circumstance because of the supplemental issue, and so we're doing double duty to dot our I's and cross our T's and make sure we've got A, all the numbers right, B, the sources are correct, C, the expenditure numbers are moving target in the supplemental every single day, and then what are we looking at for next year? And so all of that goes into play and is constantly moving as the cake gets baked, if you will. And so we've been doing a lot of stuff on the floor, dealing with a lot of different bills, and we'll continue to do that. But you probably didn't know Bodie was handling Homeland Security the way he is, and he's been working at it every single day and on the weekends. And he and Tony, our staff person back here, you know, around the clock available for members, and our members are going back and dealing with, particularly on the coast, with those issues. And so there's a lot going on. They were aggravated with me today because we worked Friday to keep the schedule straight when all of them had other things they needed to go home and deal with in their districts. But you know, it is what it is, and I think we did the right thing at least. So.
Jim, can I ask you, on the subject of higher ed, you said they're very difficult to deal with and it's difficult to get information. Do you think
that is affecting and driving the budget discussion and the willingness of members of appropriations to look at further cuts to colleges? Because there's been some talk about members of the committee being interested in maybe cutting colleges a little more, either this year or next year. Is that driving some of the budget conversation that y'all can't get information from higher ed?
You want to take a crack at that, since you serve on the committee?
State it again.
I'm just wondering, y'all have talked about the difficulty in getting information from higher education. Is that also then driving the budget discussion and the budget policies and the way y'all are looking at dealing with higher ed? Are y'all looking at giving more cuts to higher ed because y'all have been having trouble getting information from them? Do those things go hand in hand?
I don't think that any budget cuts that that higher ed would receive would be punitive from the legislature because of the transparency. It's just sometimes it's very frustrating. They're so big, and you're talking about so many state dollars in higher education budget. And I know in particular, Chairman Fannin, and this will be my third year on appropriations, he's asked to bring these budgets and bring your numbers, and we want to see where you're spending this money and where this money's going. And it's not very transparent, or it's so complicated they can't get it to us.
Two other quick things, and I've really got to go because I got to get on the road. We confirmed Scott Angel as Lieutenant Governor this week, which was probably a historic event because the House has never had confirmation authority before. It was granted when the constitutional amendment was passed a couple of years ago, you know, we did our best to lay out a plan for the future if it ever happens again, of going through the committee, going to the floor, taking the vote, and so forth. And then the briefing by the Justice Department as well, I thought was very productive for members to put faces with what is going to be the most agonizing, difficult process we go through over the course of the remainder of the term, or at least certainly tied right up there with the agonizing, complicated process of the budget. Will be redistricting. And Tom Perez, I thought, did a good job of kind of just giving the basic outline of what they're looking for and how it works. I mean, remember on our side, I think we have, it's either 11 or 14 members who've been through reapportionment before, that's it. And so this is a huge educational issue for me as speaker and for the committee and for the membership. And of course, so personally important to so many members about where the districts are going to be in the future.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, I'll let you do one more, then we'll go, and then I really don't. I'm sorry, I need to take it.
Fannin has made it clear to higher ed that they shouldn't expect to get back any of the $300 million in stimulus money that they're losing. And you said LeGrad isn't going to replace much of that. Is it realistic to expect colleges to improve as much as they would have to under this bill at the same time that they're losing another $300 million?
Oh, absolutely it is. I think that's what the PERC Commission showed was that, you know, while we're at 103% of the SREB average on state funding and we're under a little on the tuition, we can focus on centers of excellence. We can look at duplicative processes and programs. We can do a lot with the money, the over $1 billion we spend now, and do better in making sure that the workforce needs of this state are filled. And I think, again, looking at what PERC came up with and the institutions are already implementing away from the budget process because they can, the increase in admission standards, the move to articulate between the 2-year schools and the 4-year schools, all those things go into strategically and changing the way we deliver higher education services in Louisiana, many of which will drive savings, particularly the moving to the 2-year schools. And we're going to have to deal with the problems of the ARA money. But I think fortunately the higher ed's had a couple of years to prepare for it. And along with these other things, it's not going to be painless, but I think over the long haul it is the right way to go. Okay, thank you all, and I'm sorry I've got to go.